Hello, and welcome to Hot Oven Time Machine, the podcast where we dive into the history of baking and try out recipes past and present. My name is Joseph, a master amateur baker.
Hello, I'm Monty. I am a master baker in training.
We wanted to start this podcast because we both just love cooking and baking in general. And I have a huge love of history. And so we took these two things and we smooshed them together. And we're going to see what happens.
Yeah, we just smushed them together like monster food, essentially.
Like you smush butter and eggs.
And sugar.
And sugar to make a lot of baked goods.
Yes.
I assume, because, as I said, I am an amateur.
I don't know the whole time, but I'm training, so there you go. Why don't, more introduction.
More introduction?
Yeah,
okay,
like what'd you study in school?
A little bit more about myself. Went to school to learn about audio engineering. Moved up to Nashville with my wife, who's a graphic designer. And I work in the live entertainment industry. But unfortunately, due to, the situation, I'm sure we all know what that is globally at this moment. I thought, what the heck? I've been baking a lot during my off time because I've unfortunately been unable to work, but that's okay. That's neither here nor there. I just thought it would be fun. I've gotten really into baking and really love history, so I just thought it'd be fun to dive into this, and my sister enjoys doing this. I guess I should mention my co-host is my sister.
Yes, and my co-host is my brother and roommate.
But we both enjoy this, so we just thought it would be a fun thing, just bring people's spirits up, bring everyone together. I know everyone's doing baking right now, but this is our twist on it, alright?
Yeah. Because we're nerds. Because we just like nerdy stuff.
I want to go hard in the history.
I mean, you did get really close to getting a history minor by accident.
Yes, I did.
So
Part of me wonders if I should have doubled down on that, but...
You could have... Oh.
There's not very many, jobs that, you can get with a history degree.
Why not
you
just,
either become a history professor or, you can just say, I have a history degree.
Yeah, why not just, a double minor for funsies?
Could have. I did go to school for 8 years because I took the bare minimum course load because that's all I could afford.
Woohoo!
But that's who I am.
Yes.
Who are you? Even though I already know who you are. Sister of mine.
You don't, actually.
Oh, I don't?
No.
Oh, you've been hiding dark secrets from me this whole time?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Reveal them.
Okay, well, I went to college, and then I actually went to college to be a music therapist or audio engineer. I was kind of on the fence, and then I dropped out, and then I got reconstructive jaw surgery, and then I was out of school for a few months. And then I decided to go to culinary school, and I was thinking about it while I was in college with music classes, but culinary was always something that I really enjoyed. Baking always brought my friends together, and I would always stress bake in school, so that's kind of what made me bake even more. So yeah, I just really enjoy food and bringing people together.
And that I think that's our main mission, just bring people together and just have a fun time talking about food.
Yeah. Food's amazing.
And that's who we are.
Yeah.
So we hope you'll continue listening to us. These first 3 episodes are what I'm calling the Holy Trinity of Baked Goods. I don't know if that's a thing or not, but I'm calling my shot here and now.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. We can just that's our trademark.
Today, we're going to start with the humble cookie. Are you ready?
Yeah, I think I am. Let me strap in.
Alright, strap in. This is the part where I am going to do a dive in the background and history of cookies. And Monty here will give us color commentary when the urge strikes her.
Yes. Might be often, might not be often. Who knows?
You may be struck by my eloquence and the writing I have done. Though I haven't written anything like this in quite some time.
Cookie good. Cookie yummy.
Cookie gooey.
Cookie chewy.
center. The cookie. The warm, sweet, gooey, chocolatey treat we all remember our mom baking on a Sunday afternoon. The smell of brown sugar wafting through the house. So delicious, you risk burning the roof of your mouth because you just can't wait to eat it. What if I told you cookies weren't always like this? Let us travel back to the dawn of man for the history of the cookie.
Oh my god, what an intro! I'm excited now.
All right. Have I got your attention?
Yes,
All right,
you've
cool.
piqued my interest.
All right. In its earliest form, the cookie dates back 10,000 years when Neolithic farmers were first starting to cultivate grains and learn how to turn basic ingredients into more complex dishes. By modern standards, these distant relatives to our sweet treats were very plain and straightforward, simply a grain and water paste baked on stones around the fire. A recipe more for sustenance than for savoring as a treat. Over time, this recipe would evolve into the earliest form of what we would call today as the prehistoric biscuit. Hard wafers baked twice for extra long shelf life, perfect for traveling long distances. So, just, back in the beyond way, 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 way back time, it really was just there as a way of a very easy form of travel food. You didn't have to worry about it spoiling. It was there. Mm-hmm. Just kind of a rock bread. You could eat it. You'd stay alive.
Yeah.
Kind of all it was.
Just for HP points,
Yeah, just purely to keep that health bar up.
Yeah.
Not necessarily there for enjoyment.
Not at all. Imagine eating rocks.
But edible.
Edible rocks. Yes.
It wouldn't be until sugar was introduced into Persia in the 7th century of the Common Era before the beginnings of the modern cookie began to take shape. Here we begin to see the cookie's transformation from bare-bones sustenance into the treat we know today. The chefs of the Middle East began adding butter, cream, and eggs to the pastry mixture that we had mentioned before, and sweetening their cookies with honey, fruits, and sugar. This ancestor to the modern cookie was first introduced to Europe through the Muslim conquest of Spain between 711 and 788 CE. So thank you, Middle East.
Thank you, Middle East.
We wouldn't have the modern cookie without them, so just remember that.
White people ain't done nothing.
White people ain't done nothing. They always copy and usually make things worse.
Yes.
I say as a white male.
Yeah, same.
By the 14th century, the middle-aged treat would be found at all levels of society throughout Europe. Cookies then hitched a ride across the Atlantic when the Dutch settled on New Amsterdam, now New York, in the 17th century. What we know now as the quote-unquote modern cookie didn't become popular until about a century later when chefs began creaming the butter and the sugar when mixing the ingredients.
And that's the key with cookies.
Do what?
That's the key with cookies.
Ah. So, as an amateur master baker...
Yes.
What is creaming the butter and sugar? Like, is that just when you mix that together?
Yes, you're kind of... So when you're creaming the butter, it's definitely going to get it lighter, and it kind of gives it a little air.
Oh, okay, so like the whisking process adds air to it, gives it a fluffier
yes.
sort of finish?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that helps partially with the rise of the cookie. There's other things that rise, but butter makes it light, fluffy, and yummy.
Gotcha, okay. So I vaguely had an idea, but now I fully understand the creaming of the sugar and the butter.
Yes, and usually like with sugar, helps it dissolve a little into the butter.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to say it too confidently, but from...
About 87% confident?
Yeah. From what I gathered in my culinary class.
And that is the general history of the cookie.
Very interesting. I just imagine it going from rock to cookie.
Now, I mean, it did take, dates back at least 10,000 years. And it wasn't until, the 600s when they were like, what if we added sugar to this?
make it a little exciting.
So I'm glad it didn't take another nearly 10,000 years before it evolved into what we have currently.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, though to be fair, like the more basic, without creaming the butter and the sugar, I'm still like that. The pre-modern cookie would still be pretty delicious.
Yeah, you really can't go wrong with that. Anything with sugar and butter, you can't go wrong.
Mo butter, mo better.
Exactly.
Now, in case you're unaware, we're American. So I'm going to make this purely about us in the next phase
Because that's what
of the
Americans
history
do.
of the cookie. Yes. Because all we care about is us.
Yeah. And that's how we are as siblings as well.
Yes. It has to be about us.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't care.
Yeah. No.
I'm just kidding. Or am I? It's for you to find out.
Who knows?
But I figured we can talk about the general history of a food item and to not cut off too many options for future episodes, depending on the episode. We'll give you a more narrow history or background into what we're cooking. And today's recipe that we've decided to focus in on is the chocolate chip cookie. So we figured that was kind of the pinnacle of what one would think of as the cookie.
Mm-hmm.
At least in my mind. I don't know about you.
Definitely that or sugar cookies, but
Ooh, yeah, sugar cookies are good. But as a groundbreaking episode of our amazing show,
it's got to be chocolate chip.
gotta be chocolate chip.
It's the classic, everyone's favorite.
It's the GOAT.
Yeah. I haven't heard that in a long time.
I had a coworker who just was always, this is the GOAT. This is the GOAT.
The goat. Okay. I actually don't think I've heard that since high school.
And I did not hear that until like earlier this year. So like,
oh, okay.
I was unaware of the term GOAT until then.
Oh man, oof. I don't know if that makes like
the fact that he was bringing it up way after it was supposed to be in the culture, or the fact that this was the first time I heard it.
Yeah. I don't know what's worse.
We'll leave that for you to decide.
Yeah.
The listener.
We are there's a very big age gap. It's not huge for us.
What is it? 7 years? That's not that large.
Yeah, but you're still dabbing. Like, yeah, dabbing's cool. I'll still dab just to like get the sibling energy going. But I don't think I've actually seen anyone dab since my junior year of high school. Like, genuinely.
My understanding of popular culture froze about 2 years after I graduated high school.
Yeah. Like,
the teens move too fast these days.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Just hold on to what you want to hold on to. Because, like, that's your niche, you know?
That way, 20 years from now, when I have a kid of my own and I'm dabbing, it'll be the perfect, just embarrassment.
Yeah.
Like, oh, God, people haven't dabbed in 30 years, Dad.
And that's what you gotta do for kids, is embarrass them.
Exactly. That's like half of your goal as a parent.
Yes.
Pure embarrassment.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm here for. I'm training for that. That's why I dab.
Yes. Which, excellent. 10 out of 10. I think it's really perfect in form, and it's really great when you sneeze.
This is also really great audio. I mean, just dabbing, and you cannot see it at all.
Yeah.
This is quite the tangent. I don't know how much of this will make it into the final cut. We've strayed.
Yeah. We've strayed quite far.
We've strayed quite far. Let us work our way back towards the American chocolate chip cookie.
Yes.
And now I give you... Was that too dramatic when I read earlier? I was trying to like hype up the cookie.
That's just generally how you are when you're trying to hype anything up.
Oh,
so,
okay.
like, fine for me.
As long as it wasn't too dramatic.
No.
Alright, cool.
I mean, you have to have some dramatics when it comes to history.
Yeah, you know.
All history is dramatic.
Yeah, otherwise, who cares about it?
Yeah.
And now, the history of the chocolate chip cookie. The All-American chocolate chip cookie was created by Ruth Graves Wakefield and Sue Brides at the Toll House Inn, located in Massachusetts, in 1938. Does Toll House ring a bell?
Nestle?
Get there in just a minute. During this time period, the Toll House Inn was a popular restaurant that featured home cooking. Wakefield had made a butterscotch cookie that she had served with ice cream, but wanted to improve on the cookie recipe. So she chopped up a Nestle semi-sweet chocolate bar and added it to the cookie.
Oh, I always thought it was like it was an accident. Like she accidentally knocked it in.
Reportedly, in earlier versions, it had been, the story was, oh, she accidentally tried to make, it accidentally fell in, or oh, she thought the chocolate would equally melt and turn it into a chocolate cookie.
Yeah.
But it's actually, she deliberately was, added the chocolate pieces, trying to just add a little bit more sweetness and that chocolatey chunk to it without, going all overboard and making it a full-on chocolate cookie.
Oh, okay. So somebody was lying.
Well, I mean, you're going to find that throughout history. There are alternative reports.
Big telephone game.
Yes, sometimes the facts get mixed up.
Yeah.
Sometimes people try to make it more dramatic than it actually is.
My apologies for going so hard on that.
No, it's okay. I was hoping that you maybe had heard that and I could set the record straight. The reason the cookie has become so popular today is that during World War II, when soldiers from Massachusetts received care packages from home, and those soldiers shared it with their comrades, everyone was just going nuts about this chocolate chip cookie.
Mm-hmm.
And so soldiers began writing home asking for their families to send them these Toll House cookies, and then the recipe spread like wildfire. So, it kind of started out as like a regional cookie, and then about, 5 or 6 years later, when American troops went across seas and people from Massachusetts started sending those cookies over, word spread and everyone was like, you've got to send me some of these cookies. I mean, after you eat one, I would want that in a care package as well.
Oh, yeah. Breakfast, lunch, dinner.
All day, every day, all cookies all the time.
Yes.
The reason the Toll House name has kind of lived on along with Nestle is that in 1939, Wakefield gave Nestle the rights to the recipe for, allegedly, a free lifetime supply of chocolate, and also some paid consulting from time to time. So that's why, when you get a package of chocolate chip cookies from Nestle, it'll have like Toll House chocolate chip chunks or whatever.
Yeah.
And that there is the history and background of the chocolate chip cookie.
Exciting. And I have even more exciting news.
You have more exciting news? What you got for me?
Coincidentally, the recipe that I used, or based my cookie off of, because I don't follow it perfectly, is the Nestle Toll House cookie.
Oh, like you compared recipes and it's pretty much the same thing?
No, I found it on the website.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. I try a lot of cookies and this was like my favorite cookie recipe. But then of course with me I alter recipes to fit it to my liking. Cause I mean, yes, it's a great cookie, but you can always do it better.
Well, I mean, any baker or chef that's worth their salt, will take the recipe and put their own little twist on it or change a little something to kind of make it their own or make it fit their tastes.
Yeah. And this fits my taste.
So,
it's going over recipe time. So let's see here.
We know it would be bad audio to just read the recipe, so we'll just give like a little overview, just hit the highlights.
Yeah.
We have a website, hotoventimemachine.com. Well, there you can check out our recipes. We'll do links to our Instagram for photos if you want references to what they turned out like when we made it.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be about it.
Yeah, I'll link the recipes that I used. Because, I'm not good enough to make up a recipe. I gotta find something, and then I'll tweak it, or I'll follow it exactly.
So we want to give credit where credit is due.
Yeah. But, it's just kind of like I choose from a lot of different recipes. I try a lot of things, and you gotta pick out what's your favorite, and just go with it. And then you can always tweak it, but sometimes you have to be careful tweaking it.
I mean, yeah, there's some experimentation with baking.
Yes.
That's why I kind of like it, is, it's sort of part science, part art. Like,
yes,
you have room to play around with, but then, like, you can't go too far because there is, like, certain quantities of ingredient that if you go too hard on, it's going to completely change the dish.
Yeah, it's going to just destroy it. In the original recipe, most cookies call for flour, baking soda, salt, butter, sugar, mostly white and brown, vanilla, extract, and eggs, and then of course chocolate chips. One thing I do different is I brown my butter. It gives it more of like a nuttier, richer flavor, which I definitely enjoy. It's very good. I could not recommend it more.
Yeah, a couple of times over the summer, you've made a couple things with the brown butter, and that just kind of really, for me, just sends it like to the next level. Brown butter just like makes it so good.
Yeah, chef's kiss. I can't even put words together on how good it is.
Chef's kiss.
Yeah, I also kind of wanted to talk about the fun thing about brown butter. Is because, butter is made of water, fat, and protein. So like when you're cooking it, the water is what's evaporating. So what you're cooking is the butter, fat, and milk proteins.
Oh,
And that
okay.
gets it all toasty. Cause you'll have like a really good chunk of like just liquid, And then at the very bottom of what is cooking, it's like flaky.
Okay, see, my dumb butt didn't even realize that there was protein in butter. I just thought butter was pure fat.
I mean, there's a little bit of protein
Okay.
in everything.
I mean, fair enough. Yeah, okay.
Fair enough.
Now that I'm thinking about it, yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah. And then
So the water, so also when you're browning the butter, is it like reducing the water content because some of that like evaporates off?
yes.
Okay.
So if you want, say, like a cup of brown butter, you're always going to want to add a little more extra butter. I usually do like a tablespoon. Depending on like the butter that you get, you might have to do more, you might have to do less. So,
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
yeah. And then, if you don't quite reach a cup, you can always add water. Because usually it's only like a quarter cup that's like been evaporated. It's really not a whole lot.
Right, so like essentially you could just add the water back in because the main thing is just trying to get that the
Flavor.
toastiness. Yeah.
Yes, the
Okay.
flavor. Yeah. And always, if you're gonna make cookies, use dark brown sugar. It makes it chewier. It makes it tastier. That's essentially it. Just makes it chewier and tastier.
See, I knew it made it tastier. I did not realize that the brown sugar would change the overall texture of the cookie. That's very interesting.
It will because dark brown sugar versus light brown sugar has more molasses in it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. So that's essentially just what brown sugar is molasses and sugar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So dark brown has more molasses, so it's definitely gonna make things chewier. And I like a chewy, soft cookie. I'm not about that hard shit.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely with you on that. Like, it has to be a very specific cookie if it's going to be like a sort of harder, drier cookie. But I
Mm-hmm.
definitely overall am in the camp of soft and chewy.
Yeah,
Soft and chewy cookie all the way.
for sure.
Another question I had, since you've just schooled me in the basics of how to brown butter and difference between light and brown sugar,
Mm-hmm.
is going to be what I'm hoping is a recurring segment of baking soda. Why this bake this way?
And the recurring segment will just be why this baked this way?
Yes, no, it won't be baking soda every time.
Baking soda
let,
edition.
let me clear. Yes, why this bake this way? Baking soda.
Baking soda. Okay, so everyone always is quite unsure of the difference of baking soda and baking powder.
Myself included.
Yes, it's very confusing. I mix it up all the time, but it's fairly simple. Baking soda is a sodium bicarbonate, and it's a leavening added to make baked goods rise.
Okay.
And essentially, baking powder does the same thing, right?
Okay.
But baking soda is just the base. It doesn't have any acid in the powder. Baking powder is a base and an acid.
Oh, okay. So baking powder will it rise more because it has
Yes, if you need more of a rise and you can't add too much of a certain acid in your recipe, or else it'll change the whole texture completely.
Right.
That's
Okay.
what you would use baking powder for.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they do the same job just at different levels
Yeah.
and by slightly different chemical reactions during the baking process.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, with baking powder, it can have an acid in the recipe, or it probably doesn't have an acid in the recipe at all.
Okay, but it'll react with something else in there, or during the baking process, it'll still create some rise.
Yes.
See, I was totally clueless on the differences. I've started baking more seriously in the past year, but I've baked on and off, for probably the past 5 years since
Mm-hmm.
I've been married. I've enjoyed baking treats from time to time, but I just never bothered to look up the difference between the two. So
Yeah,
now I know.
I always knew there was a difference.
Knew there was a difference. I
Dad would
just
always try to school me every time, but then he'd be like, "Wait, I don't remember which one does which, but one is a base and one is a base and an acid."
I mean, it doesn't help that they have pretty similar names. Like, they
Yeah.
both start with baking.
Yeah.
We should rename them. That we should. One should be just like leavening, and then the other should
They're
be
both
leavening plus, or like
yeah.
leavening ultimate, or something like that. No, because then you're still gonna have they both start with leavening.
Yeah. So then you're going to have that tricky bit. Here's what I want to know. Okay? So this recipe has baking soda in it.
Okay.
And, when you mix the ingredients together, it creates the carbon dioxide, which will expand your dish.
Right.
What do you think the acid is in the cookies?
Oh, interesting. Hmm. Is it from the eggs? Because I'm thinking like amino acids.
I actually can't. I don't think eggs are technically an acid.
Well, I know they're not acidic or like pure acid.
Yeah,
I know
I
they're
I
protein, but I
don't remember
figure,
their pH level.
but I figured eggs have like amino acids because it's supposed to be like the building blocks of.
I think with eggs you focus more on the protein
Okay.
aspect than you would on acid.
Does it have milk in it?
No milk.
No milk. Okay.
Cookies usually don't have milk.
I should probably give myself the three strikes and I'm out here. Otherwise, I'm just going to list off every ingredient until I get it.
Yes, that's two.
Um, butter.
It is not the butter.
Ah, shucks. All right. Well, let's give our fans at home a minute to shout into their pod player of choice while they know the correct answer,
Or into the air.
or into the air, or to their neighbors through the walls.
If they're going grocery shopping.
Yeah. All right, and the
Okay.
answer.
The answer is brown sugar in this case.
Oh,
Brown sugar is an acid.
that was probably going to be my absolute last guess.
Yes. And you're actually right on milk. Milk is an acid.
Okay, just this ingredient doesn't have milk in it, so
Yeah, this.
wouldn't react.
No, not at all. And another one would be honey or lemon juice.
And then that makes more sense to our conversation earlier, where the brown sugar, like it has more molasses, and so that's why it has more acid, and then you kind of get a better texture if you use brown sugar versus
Yeah.
or dark brown sugar versus light brown sugar.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that just makes all perfect sense now.
Yeah.
So now we've delighted you in the history of the cookie in general and the chocolate chip cookie, and now we've discussed the recipe and
Quizzed.
quizzed me a little bit and discussed a little bit of the chemistry and science behind it. I think now we deserve, I think, at this point,
A little tweet.
a what?
A little tweet.
Oh, a little. Okay. A little treat.
A little tweet. Okay.
Kaylee has
smell.
prepared for us a glorious example of the chocolate chip cookie.
Absolute units of a cookie.
Oh, the smell delicious.
I know. You're really getting that brown butter and
yeah.
the brown sugar.
Can definitely smell it.
It's really nutty. That's how you know when it's starting to cook is when it starts smelling nuttier.
See, I'm gonna
Split it in half. Look
break
at
it in half here. I know breads have
Oh.
crumb. Would you consider the inside of a cookie crumb?
Yes, there is like a crumb to it.
Okay.
Yes.
Good mixture of chocolate. We used instead of breaking up giant chunks, it's just your regular old little chocolate chips, but they are Nestle, so we wanted to make sure we
Yeah.
stuck true to form.
Yeah. One way to make it really good is if you do take a chocolate bar and you chop it. Because when you get like those really fine chopped bits,
Oh yeah,
they melt so good in the cookie.
you get like a variation of like you can have like a really big chunk and little slivers of
And
chocolate.
the shavings, adds to the texture again.
Yeah, we'll post pictures of these. That way, you're not just having to purely imagine. I think now we're gonna. This has been really hard. I say we. Monty made these yesterday, and we have been having to wait roughly 24 hours until we recorded, and it has been torture to not eat one of these. We wanted to do a live taste testing on the recording, so I think on a count of three.
Yeah.
One, two, three. Oh my goodness. Oh, I should have microwaved these to help simulate the right out of the oven.
Oh man. These would be delicious microwave.
But even like room temperature, just I never knew that the molassesy kind of flavor is what I really loved in a good chocolate chip cookie. Like now that I know like all these ingredients that go into it and the reactions and how it all combines, it's really that darker molassesy flavor that is just really sticking out to me. And then the semi sweetness of the chocolate just really kind of balances it all out. It's so good.
There's just that real small slight bit of like butterscotch flavor.
Oh yes,
From
I
the
love
brown
butterscotch.
butter. Yeah, that's from the brown butter.
Have to say, this is a very good cookie.
Yes.
If you are looking for a very delicious cookie recipe, you cannot go wrong with what is the modern equivalent of the original chocolate chip cookie recipe, straight from Nestle. This is, hands down, probably one of the best cookies I've eaten this year.
And you really just gotta make it your own, you know?
My compliments to the chef.
Thank you. Master baker trainee, but not a chef yet. But thank you.
Chef in training.
Yeah, chef adjacent. Let me tell you though, when I made these cookies for my coworkers, they went absolutely
Bananas.
bananas.
I can see why.
Not to be like, yes, give me attention, but I really enjoyed it. But also, I really enjoy the pure, childlike excitement people get from eating sweets.
It's just like it teleports you to like just a simpler time. You know, you can have this delicious sweet treat and just for a moment just kind of get teleported somewhere else, you know? Just somewhere simpler and safer and just delicious.
Yes, like in a kitchen with your mom.
Yes.
On a sunny day afternoon, in the summer, and the heat is melting the chocolate on your fingers and making them all sticky. What an amazing time.
Ooh, we should have got ice cream to go with these.
Oh my god.
Because that's how the original chefs were making them.
Man.
Oh, that would have been so good.
And you know, we were talking about making these absolute units of cookie, like they're legit probably bigger than the size of my palm.
Yeah, these turned out quite large.
We had a very big scoop. We did talk about making ice cream cookies. These would make the perfect ice cream cookie. You get that like good vanilla bean ice cream.
Sorry, I'm having a hard time adding more
I know you're
commentary. I'm just
going ham on that cookie.
I'm just finishing this cookie out. It is so good.
I just don't want like too many mouth sounds. I don't want to annoy people with that because I don't particularly enjoy mouth sounds. Oh, please no. The thing is, you were respectfully doing it. Your mouth was still closed.
Yeah, well, and I was also trying to make sure I finish my bite or get close to it before I start trying to say my next thought out loud. I'm one bite away, guys. I'm just gonna finish it. This is so good.
Yeah, I'm not the best at flavor profiles, like explaining them. Like I understand how things taste. But words don't work.
Words are hard sometimes.
Words are very hard sometimes. But that's my main problem in school is they're like, okay, describe aroma, flavor, texture, mouthfeel. I'm like, oh no.
That was a very good cookie.
I know.
I'm sad that that one is done, but luckily we still have like a whole batch of them.
Oh yeah.
But I'm going to restrain myself from going to the kitchen and getting 6 more like my inner child wants. And be the proper adult and finish out this podcast.
Yes.
Oh.
7. Oh, that doesn't mean... I'll give it an 8 just because of the like staccato kind of thing you did there.
Speaking of ratings, I just had a brilliant idea. Should we have an ongoing ratings of recipes that we try?
Oh, that would be exciting.
And like just every now and then, I don't know if we would go back and like talk about the ratings or not. I don't know. It could be a fun thing to just check it out on the website and just see what we compare recipe ratings, though might not be super useful if we give them all like 10 out of 10 or anything.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. This is my tried and true cookie recipe, but in the future, I know I'm going to be using recipes that I haven't done before, because that's the point of this podcast.
Yeah, that is true. Like, yeah, with this, we definitely chose sort of safe territory, but we just thought it would be a good area, to start out with the first few episodes just on some solid, some solid foods that everyone's familiar with.
Yeah, we're not going to, like, come busting out with croquembouche first episode. That would be absolutely insane.
Gotta stick with a standard sort of, baking recipe.
Yeah, something simple, something sweet.
So, I guess as far as that goes, like, this recipe, I would say 9.5 out of 10. I want to go 10 out of 10 on the first, because you gotta give some room, but, like, I'm going to be a little ridiculous. 9.5 out of 10.
Well, what's that 0.5, in the negative aspects?
Just the fact that, like, it's a very good cookie. I wouldn't say it's the perfect cookie.
Yeah.
But it's definitely, like...
Oh, it's just a good...
I'm just leaving room for, like, if I eat a better cookie.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I call this 10 out of 10 and I eat a better cookie, then I'm going to have to, like, redo the whole scale.
Yeah.
Don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Gotta leave some room for improvement.
I would definitely, for this one, just give us a plain 9 out of 10, because I prefer it with the chopped chocolate.
Fair enough.
I'm not a huge fan of, like, chocolate chip morsels, if that makes sense.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, they hit different.
Okay, yeah, I could see that.
And you can always get higher quality with just bars of chocolate.
True, yeah, it's kind of like when you buy a block of cheese versus pre-shredded cheese. Like, it just that little bit fresher when you grate it yourself.
Yeah. So
you have the bigger block of chocolate that just kind of acts differently.
Yeah.
See, I'm a lazy baker, and so anything that I can buy sort of in its easiest form, say as chocolate chips versus a bar of chocolate, I'm always going to lean towards those chocolate chips.
Man, you gotta put your heart and soul into it.
My heart and soul is into it.
But in a lazy way.
But my heart is lazy. It is my nature.
Fair. I can't argue with that.
Alright, solid 9.5 from me. Solid 9 from Kaylee. We'll have to see what we give our recipe next week. Thank you for sticking with us through this first episode, and I hope you stay with us through the next few. And
yes, please.
Enjoy it and spread it amongst your friends if you had a good time here. We're open to suggestions if you have some fun recipes you'd like us to try out, or any fun challenges you'd like to give to us. We have a few that we've baked up ourselves.
4 for a dad joke.
I'll take it.
Your dad jokes are never going to get a high rating. I hope you know that. Unless it's, like, really good.
That only drives me to make them more.
There you go. Rating on food, rating on dad jokes.
But thank you so much for listening today. If you want to check out our website, where we will keep
recipes,
links to the recipes, images, any upcoming news or anything else we think of. It's pretty bare bones as of right now, but who knows?
Yeah.
Might go crazy, might go ham.
Yeah, we'll definitely get stronger the more episodes that we do.
Stronger, better, faster, harder. Is that French? The guys that wear
French.
the helmets.
They're French?
Yeah, you know they're French.
Daft Punk is French?
Yeah, I think.
Okay, I'm gonna have to reevaluate my life real quick. Clearly, I don't know enough.
But yeah, you can check out our website. Check out our Instagram. You can find us at Hot Oven Time Machine Podcast. We'll be posting photos there, maybe some behind the scenes, little goofs and gags that we might
Yeah.
come up with along the way.
Yeah, I might even post pictures of ourselves just so you can put faces to voices.
Unless you're like me and just like to make up your own imagination of what podcasters look like, because I'm never one to seek that out.
I gotta know.
There are podcasts I've listened to them for years and I still don't know what they look like.
I gotta know. It's just I'm too curious.
But you can find our Instagram at Hot Oven Time Machine Podcast. I don't remember if I already said that, but I'm making this for the
that's
edit.
Okay.
Do you want to plug your personal podcast? Nope, not personal podcast. Would you like to plug your personal Instagram handle?
Oh God. Well, the funny thing is,
We can link it.
yes, because it's spelled really weird, and you'll think it's like Montea or something.
Montea Bea.
Montea Bea. Yeah, that's what it is. But no, it's Monty B. But like tea. I like drinking tea. Okay, so that goes in there, and then BEE because our last name starts with a B, and B's are cute. I'm not gonna go into the whole logistics of why my username is my username, but I like it.
Fair enough. Mine's easy. Joseph _ Hayden _ Boring white guy Instagram account name.
And don't you usually just post photography on there?
I do post photography on there, so you don't have to follow me if you don't want to, if you're not into photography. I might start posting more baking stuff, but that'll probably also go on the main Instagram account.
Go follow him. Okay, he needs hype for his photography. It's amazing.
If you want, no biggie.
Go follow him.
If you also love this enough to give us your financial support, check out patreon.com/Hot Oven Time Machine Podcast. We're just starting out, so just every little bit helps. Just whatever you can throw our way. If you can't, just spread the word. That's all we ask. We just hope you have a good time here and enjoyed yourself.
Yeah, just all about spreading.
Spreading!
Just all about spreading happiness.
So make sure you spread some happiness at the beginning of this year, and we'll see you guys on the next time.
Yep, on the next time with cake.
Burner.
Burner.